Hello! A story is exciting and understandable if we set the punctuation marks correctly. And the same is true for our own lives. If we want to live an inspiring life, we need to set punctuation marks such as points, for example. You can see it, points, and exclamation marks and even question marks, and all that kind of punctuation is very important also for our own life. You know why? Because they gave the word the sound, and they gave the whole text the rhythm, and even can change the emphasis. And the same is true for our own lives. And I love to get inspired of the punctuation marks for our own lives for the next couple weeks. Today it's all about something small, a small mark at the end of a sentence. Yes, you're right, it's about a point. And it closes up something so that something new can start, and it starts big. What a statement! Small in itself, not very noticeable, but it makes a big difference if missing. This is true not only for a text, not only for a sentence, but also for our lives. And I really like to be inspired today about setting points. And by the way, setting points is like ending something, and this is a difference between ending something and giving up on something. Because ending something, that means most probably I decided to end, I decided to set a point, while giving up on something is most probably based on how I feel about something. And this is a big difference, and I like to set points in my life. I will never forget the time when Leo and I were a young couple, and I was ready for a change. You know, I worked for several years already, and I was ready for a change, and we thought now it's a good time to get pregnant. But for some reason, I couldn't get pregnant as fast and as easy I was thinking. And so I was working there, I was waiting for a change, when all of a sudden I realized I can set points. I can set here a point in my life story and end the work, not waiting until a pregnancy is the reason for the change, because we cannot always influence our circumstances, but we can set points whenever we want to. So Leo and I decided that I stopped working at this job. I quit the job. We prayed for the future, what I could do, and we came up with the idea that I start as a volunteer at our church. I did whatever was on demand, whatever was needed to do, and I also started to attend a counseling course and ended up giving counseling classes in our own church on a monthly basis. And then finally, after I think 2 years or so, I got pregnant. But the interesting thing is, I would never have started counseling courses and even giving counseling classes at our church if I would have been pregnant before. So I really was very thankful that I was able to set a point at my work and say, here I end something so that something new can start big. And I really hope this short story will inspire you as well, because Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 to 8 lists a whole list of things that is a season of time for this and for that, and I love to read it to you. There it says, there is a time for everything that is done on earth. There is a time to be born and a time to die. There is a time to plant, and there is a time to pull up what is planted. There is a time to kill, and there is a time to heal. There is a time to tear down, and there's a time to build up. There's a time to cry, and there's a time to laugh. There is a time to be sad, and there is a time to dance. There is a time to scatter stones, and there's a time to gather them. There's a time to hug, and there is a time not to hug. There is a time to search, and there is a time to stop searching. There is a time to keep, and there is a time to throw away. There is a time to tear, and there is a time to mend. There is a time to be silent, and there is a time to speak. There is a time to love, and there is a time to hate. There is a time for war, and there is a time for peace. And I really invite you to open up your Bible or to go to the internet and Google this Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1 to 8 for yourself. Go through the list with a praying heart, asking God, where is it time to set a point? Maybe it's time to set a point with loving and get serious about your problem. Or maybe it's a time to stop hating and start loving. Or all these lists, and I really invite you to get inspired about setting points in your life and go through this list and get inspired about these topics. May God bless you and may God help you setting points in your life, something that is very small and not very noticeable, but makes a big difference also in your life. Bye bye. See you next time.